Welcome to another episode of Kranekel. I am Brother Ingram. I am here with my friend Sean. Um, Today's episode is a little bit different. It's been a while since we've filmed, and I wanted to come back with more of a positive message, something that, in light of everything that's been going on, that can help somebody. Um, I've known Sean for a few years, and his tale of recovery and the stuff that he does now is just simply amazing. Um, So we'll let you start. We met a few years ago. We used to work together. Um, you became a very heavy alcoholic.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It was pretty bad. My last, I've been sober for going on a little over 3 years now. Um, those last few years, though, from the point of when we actually used to work together, it was just downhill from there. It was one inconvenience after another that spiraled my drinking more and more out of control, and I got to the point where the only thing that was stopping me from drinking was when I was unconscious. It was pretty bad. Literally nothing stopped me. Work, meetings, important things to do, driving. Unfortunately, not having my son, I've lost all my son's precious years because I was too intoxicated to remember them. Um, so those precious moments are gone, and that's something that I got to live with the rest of my life. It can get me rough sometimes, for sure.
Well, I do want to say thank you for doing this with me. I really do appreciate it. And like I said, we've talked multiple times about doing this, and we, with everything that's happened, pandemics and everything, we have put it off. But I really do appreciate this because I really do think, especially seeing on your social media and stuff, how you are always trying to outreach, inspire people. Like, I don't think you're realizing the lives you're touching.
It's it's hard. Sometimes it's just hearing things worded differently, or simply just reminding somebody, regardless if it's an addiction problem or mental health issues. Sometimes just voicing it, and even if one person hears something, that reminds them that they're not alone. Regardless if it's severe depression or substance abuse, and usually mental illness and substance abuse go hand in hand. Um, it could kind of like spark something in somebody sometimes and realize that things can get better, but they have to put the effort and they actually have to want to do it though.
Okay. So when me and you lost, we had some. Me and you when we lost contact. If I can ask, what was it? One particular event that got you to stop drinking, or was it a series?
Um, Realistically, throughout the years, I never really. I tried tricking myself. The disease of addiction is extremely cunning and baffling. As textbook as it sounds, it's true. Um, you'll find people will find some type of excuse for the behavior. You've seen me in my drunken endeavors plenty of times. You even body slam me in your house in the past. It's always an excuse. I had too much to drink. I had a bad day. This and that. Multiple people, including exes, when I was living with them, oh, you gotta slow down, this and that. And trying to, but being miserable. If I did manage to not drink for X amount of time, I was miserable the whole time. So, I, thinking back, that was a lot of failed attempts on trying to control it because I wasn't real with myself and realized that I had, you know, um, I had more than a drinking problem. I pretty much had it all figured out, but I wasn't ready to stop. So the last few years, more so the last year, I went through a very unfortunate breakup. There was a lot of bad things in play, and it kind of was the push that made the rock hit the bottom. That was my rock bottom. I was on the brink of possibly, it was only a matter of time if I lost visitation rights to my son. None of my family trusted me. Um, it was really hard to take me seriously. How I managed to not lose my job, I have no idea. But I'm doing all right. I'm still there now. Um, I think what it was is that one of the mornings I was at work and I had like a freak out moment at work. It was really weird. It was like a light bulb went off. I was just thinking about all the times that I wasn't able to provide for my kid, like for Christmases and this and that, things that I don't remember. Um, how my family looked at me. Um, you could you could love somebody and still not fuck with them, and that's where my sister was on the brink of never talking to me again. It was just bad things, and this whole time it was like, oh, whoa, it's me, everyone's against me, and it was just like a total bullshit pity party, and I got sick of living like that. I was actually staying with my cousin at the time, and I started breaking down and crying. I'm not a very emotional, crying type of dude, and granted, the alcohol didn't help because if I was up, I was yeah, one way or another. I don't think people really realized how much I fucking drank, and it was pathetic. But
Hold on. We were chugging pretty large Roman Cokes.
you're a pretty large guy though.
But you were, but I don't even like. I know how strong those drinks were that night, and we were chugging them. Like we went through. I think, trust me, you put me on my ass for a couple of days with a hangover. So, and that was even for my size trying to keep up with you.
Yeah.
You put me on my ass. So.
Yeah, this is just bad. All bad. But yeah, I just hit a point where I was sick of living like that. And something had to be done. It was weird. I just knew I couldn't be done. There was no half-assing it. There was no, I'm only gonna drink on the weekends bullshit. There was no, I got sick of living like that. I wanted to break the mold with a family, and this may sound bad, but it can be hereditary. Now, when I say coming from a family of alcoholics, it's absolutely no disrespect. Everybody in my family, it's not like they're drunks or whatever, but the addiction, which hand in hand, alcoholics, it's all hand in hand. It runs pretty strong on both sides of my family, and I wanted to break the mold. I didn't want my son. I wanted to have my son somebody I looked up to. I wanted to be there for my family, but ultimately, what made it, people can want to quit because of jobs. People can want to quit because they don't want to lose their girlfriend or their wife and all this. That's cool. That's great. But unless somebody generally, they want to stop doing it. They want to get better. They want to improve themselves. All of that other shit's irrelevant, because if you're doing it for something other than yourself and other than you want to, even if you manage to never use or drink again, you're gonna be miserable one way or another the whole time. And I was just done. So I made a couple phone calls. I kind of stumbled into my boss's office, and I was like, look, I made some calls. I'll wait on a call back. As soon as I get this call, I'm leaving. I got to get better. They knew my situation with drinking, but they didn't really get that. I'm like, yo, I'm checking into fucking treatment.
Okay. So that was going to be my next question. So you actually ended up going to treatment?
Yeah, I was real enough with myself, even with me being half in the bag, that there was absolutely no way. Initially, I couldn't do it myself.
Okay.
I had to be separated away from all that. So, I made a call, and initially the thing went to detox, and then they evaluate you from there. But I had to go somewhere. I know I couldn't just be like, you know what, I'm done drinking. I'm just not going to buy any beer at the house. You know what I mean? I'm driving past a million stores. I put my pride to the side, and when you put your pride and your ego to the side, that shit can save you so many times, even outside of addiction problems. Fucking pride and ego can be your worst enemy, seriously. But yeah, I told them that I was making calls to treatment centers, and when I get a call back, I'm out of here. And I made it very clear to my boss at the time that it's either I'm going to do what they asked me to do, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to have a job, or I'm going to go do what I need to do. I'm going to come back and I'm not going to have a job. So if you don't see what path I'm going, regardless,
Right.
And just went from there. I was in treatment for almost 30 days, about like 27, 28 days, altogether counting detox, but it was the best decision I ever made in my life, so I absolutely do not regret it whatsoever.
Right. Um, fast forward because we were seeing each other periodically. You know,
Yeah.
just bumping into each other. Um, the road to redemption, was that like another trying to mend the bridges? Because I know it's not an overnight thing.
No.
And was that another, like, I got to set the pride to the side and the ego to the side just to approach that?
It all depends. There was something else I didn't get, even though, for one, I'm pretty sure almost everybody didn't expect me to maintain my sobriety, and that's okay. It's the way I presented myself my whole adult life. I was too worried about women and getting fucked up all the time. That's all there is to it. You know, the two went hand in hand for me. You know, it's just drink in one hand, booby in the other. I mean, it is what it is. I was a hot pile of shit, but there were a lot of bridges I burnt throughout the years, and even though I was drunk and it's something I wouldn't, actions or what was said or regardless of what it was, wouldn't have been things I would have done. If I was sober, it doesn't matter because it's my actions that I did. And so using drugs or alcohol as a cop-out excuse is kind of like, it's not a get out of jail free card. Though you still did those actions because it's ultimately, you made the choice to get fucked up in the first place. I couldn't control alcohol. Who in their right mind would do some shit like that and ruin friendships and relationships with people that did nothing wrong to them? But I did. So as time went on, regardless, unfortunately, a lot of them were through messaging, through social media. Some of them, no, only a few of them, I've actually been able to apologize, regardless if they accepted the apology or not. And that was something else I had to rewire myself for too. Even though I know that I want to stay sober and I wanted to do this and that, for some reason I expected everybody to ultimately forgive me for the fucking headache that I was, and that's not how shit works. People don't forget about things that you did, especially when you leave that mark on their brain, regardless if it was completely embarrassing them, ruining their trust, doing something just. You've been around me more than a few times, man. I'm pretty hammered, and I was a completely different person. That's all there is to it.
I mean, I think that goes hand in hand with a lot of people, though, because even from personal experience, you know what I'm saying? It really does take you to a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde situation.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the personality change. So, when you got out of rehab, what things did you do? Because I guess I've seen you how motivated you are now, especially with your son and other things that you do and stuff. Did a lot of that, is that where a lot of that came from?
Um,
Like the whole self motivation to help?
it's the see that can be all over the place. I think what a lot of it came down to was if you want to change, all right, let's all right, that's the addiction whole drunk thing. Fuck that. If you want to change, if you don't like where you're at in life, you have to get your head out of your ass and realize that you're currently where you're at now in life because of your actions, regardless. So if you don't like where you're at or want to change or want to improve on something, that's going to require work. That's going to require effort. That's going to require you not getting discouraged because there's a minor inconvenience or a bump in the road. You have to keep moving. And that's how it was, because when I got out of treatment, my living situation necessarily wasn't ideal. I didn't have my own place. I didn't have space and privacy. So it was kind of like almost like a cabin fever kind of thing. So it made kind of keeping my shit together kind of hard, but ultimately I tried to have my son back to back as much as I could. I enjoyed outdoors more. I remember driving the first time at nighttime, and everything was crystal clear, and that was fucking weird. Because if I was driving at nighttime, I probably had about 11 hours of drinking in my belly already. So, so it's staying busy. It's breaking the routine, and that's a big thing about recovery and sobriety is changing your routine. A lot of people aren't willing to sacrifice. They think that they're going to get better, even if they have all intentions of getting better. I'm not going to drink again. I'm not going to pop a pill again, drink, snort, whatever the case may be. A lot of people seem to think that just because they're cool, oh, I can go back to hanging out with the same people. I can go back to hanging around the same places. I can go back. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. You can't be a bird learning how to fly hanging with the chickens. And even if me, like I'm a pretty reclusive hermit crab individual, that's all right. But I'm not selectively hanging out with individuals. Sounds really judgy, but that necessarily aren't going anywhere around me and your age, doing the same shit that they was doing when we were 15 years ago. You got to try and if
you got to surround yourself with that circle that's trying to be where you're going.
Yeah, and not necessarily even if they're not going where you're going, even if they're
just trying to be better.
Yeah, just positive vibes, dude. And it sounds like a cheesy, post you see a million times on social media, but you are a product of the company you keep. I am a very firm believer in that.
Yeah.
For sure.
I agree with you 1,000% on that, even in my own, again, with my own journey, separating from where I was, even back when we first met, till now, it's a completely different story, and a lot of that was losing a lot of negativity around me. So, moving forward, I'm surprised that you're not, hosting a 12-step program yourself with the message that you speak, because personally, you are, again, we just talked about this before the show, how much you do help. Someone that sees you on social media and stuff like that, is that the plan going forward to try to start helping people?
I mean, I've heard I do, but I don't think I do. It's weird. I don't know, maybe I'm just not holding myself up to a high enough standard. There are plenty of people that were looking forward to this filming. They wanted to see it. Or the live stream I was talking about doing before, which, but I always remember though, it's sometimes it's just hearing from somebody else that you're not the only one in this situation, or that's in a shitty spot, or that feels like nothing's going to change. Because I think a couple weeks before I kind of snapped and decided to get treatment, I was fully content that alcohol was going to be the reason why I died or I got killed. And the fucked up thing is, I was okay with it. It didn't bother me. Something in me snapped though. It was just weird. I just got sick of living like that, man. But
well, any help I can give you, dude. Any help to help with this. Is there anything you would like to say to the people that are out there watching?
You can apply this in and out of recovery, but I'm trying to think, scramble the words in my head. I will say though, if you want to make a change, ultimately it's up to you. Pointing fingers and blaming other people for your situation will never excel you any. Sacrifice is a huge part of getting anywhere in life, realizing toxic people. I cut a lot of people off and stopped doing a lot of things, and I might not be extremely successful and trying to play catch up from being a hot mess my whole adult life, but I'm in a better place than I was. And I wouldn't be here unless I have the mind state that I have. So if you are trying to do better, just remember that there's a lot of people that are in your same shoes. And the biggest suggestion I could say to people that think they might have an addiction or a drinking problem, an addiction problem, you're going to be stuck with that your whole life. It's going to be every day the rest of your life, and regardless if you choose to use or not use, that's up to you. But just remember, if you want to get the help, that there's plenty of people out there, and the recovery community on social media is huge. I just recently got back on Facebook. I haven't seen any groups on that, but I do know that before I got back on Facebook, that I was on Instagram for a while, and honestly, probably half the people I follow are in recovery. Like, there's a lot of support there that you wouldn't think. And I didn't realize it was there until I started searching and Google searching things. find a lot out. It just takes a little effort.
All right, folks, we're gonna wrap this up right here. As thank you for enjoying the show. Thank you for watching. Like, share, comment, and be safe and have fun.